Assalamu alaikum everybody on the Sam of Somalia channel. Hope you guys are really well and in the best of health. So what you're about to watch is an episode of the Burr Grinder Show, which is a daily show that I host where I have new guests on every day and we have conversations about what they're working hard for in life, what they're grinding for in life, if you like. So the brother that we have on today is a brother called Muhidin Abubakakr. He's a Somali, he's an athlete, and he competes in MMA, and he's doing things out there. Like inshallah, soon we're hoping that he'll turn professional. And he rocks the Somali flag, whenever he competes. And not only does he compete at a serious level, he's also a champion. He holds belts in various divisions, and he rocks the Somali flag, and that's pretty cool. So enjoy the show. In today's episode of the Burr Grinder Show, we've got to have a conversation with Muhidin Abubakakr, who's an amateur MMA fighter fighting out of East London. We think he'll probably turn pro soon because he has a pretty nice record of 8 wins and one sort of very dubious loss. But in this episode, I had the opportunity and the privilege to speak to him about sort of the mindset of being a champion. He holds a number of different belts in a number of different promotions. And I think you need a particular mindset to go into a cage with another man who's trained just as hard as you, another man who is trained to knock you out or submit you. It's a pretty interesting and pretty serious kind of mindset position that someone who does that every single day needs to go through. We also got to talk about sort of the training, the routines, and things like that you really need to achieve the level of being a champion and to even defend your belts as well and to maintain a position of being a champion consistently. We also had the opportunity to talk about generally the world of professional sports, and I think of all the people that I've interviewed and had conversations with, over the past sort of 4 or 5 years, I think he's probably the one that I've been the most starstruck by. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. If I understand how to use all of it, then we are recording. So, ladies and gentlemen, Muhidin Abubakakr, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I'm very well, akhi. How you been?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Were you training this evening?
Not this evening, unfortunately. I train in the morning though. I was going to train in the... Basically, right now, I'm training in someone's garage. So, and it's not my friend, it's my friend's friend. So if my friend is not going, I can't go. And he had something come up with his family. So, but we train in the morning, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, that's nice, man. So what can you do at the moment? Like, I guess some of the most, can you, with a sparring, can you spar with a sparring partner? Can you do stand-up?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, we got a little garage. It can fit, like if there's 4 or 5 of us, it's perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, we got bags there, we got the mats there, so we can wrestle, we can grapple. And I think the main thing is that the walls, we have to just be careful a little bit, but that's about it.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. Well, I'm in Cornwall at the moment at my dad's place, and we've got quite a big garage here, and we've got a heavy bag in there and stuff, and it's decent, but it's the same. You've got to be careful with when there's tools and stuff lying around. You don't want to fall on a screwdriver or something. So yeah.
Like, this garage has been made into a gym. It's only a gym.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Nothing else. You go in. It's all matted. Every part of the garage is matted. In the corner, kettlebells, some battle ropes, and then there's 2 bags.
Nice, mashallah. Yeah. So you're staying in shape and stuff at the moment, yeah?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Good, alhamdulillah. Are you looking to be given a fight soon?
Yeah, yesterday or the day before, a show announced that they're doing a show behind closed doors. So
really, okay.
Yeah. They'll probably lose money, but that's not my problem.
No, exactly. No, exactly. No. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, what I'd hope that we'll do in our conversation, inshallah, is we'll talk a little bit about sort of your background and how you got into martial arts and stuff, inshallah. Talk a little bit about your career and where you want to go. And then at the end, there's some kind of professional MMA and UFC stuff that I'd like us to have a chat about, inshallah. So, so if we can start, inshallah, just to give my audience a little bit of context on you, because some people will know who you are, like especially my Sam of Somalia audience will probably know who you are and what you do. But just for some context, like firstly, where do you live? Where in the UK are you from?
Next to my neighbour. Nah.
I don't want your postcode.
I'm from London, East London.
Nice.
Not so nice. But
cool.
From
nice, cool. And then what about like your ethnic background?
Bara was Somalia.
Okay, you look like the Barwani person. Like if I were to imagine a Barwani brother, you look like the Barwani brother, mashallah. I was just speaking.
I don't like to, like at the end of the day, it's one country. You know, you don't like English people. You don't say I'm a Scout, so I'm from London. But when I say I'm Somali, people are like, oh, you don't look Somali. So I just put that out there from the beginning. But I was Somalia, so I don't have to explain myself.
No, of course, akhi. Like, yeah, I understand that 100%, akhi. Like, it's no less Somali, of course not, bro. But you know, I was gonna say, I was literally like 20 minutes ago. I was speaking to your boy, Muhammad Mardadi. I was speaking to him like half an hour ago.
My cousin, related to me, yeah. Distant relative.
Yeah, because I want to have him on the show sometime. Yeah, because as I think I told you, I've worked with him before. Obviously, he does poetry, and he was teaching in Saudi Arabia, and you know, there's just some interesting stuff that he can share, inshallah. But I was thinking, shout out to Barwani brothers and sisters, man, because of like the first sort of 10 to 15 guests that I want on the show, 3 of them are Barwanis. Like, if you think about how small a place Barawa is, you know, so yeah,
I think,
mashallah.
Like, it's kind of like a forgotten city. Like, there's no, even the government don't really do anything there. There's no really like census of how many people are there. There's nothing really there, you know. It's kind of like just live by itself, you know. Just get by and do. You guys do you, you know. What I'm saying?
I know.
So,
yeah, I know.
I think I asked somebody who's there. Like, I said, how many people do you think live there? And he said, I reckon maybe 10 to 20,000. That's his estimate. Obviously, there's no census, so there's no way that I can like really provide an accurate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I'd have no idea. I got no idea, akhi.
Yeah, I've got no idea as well. Like, Google, Wikipedia says about, I think, 50, but that was written God knows when. So
yeah, by anyone. Do you know what I mean? So how old were you when you first got into martial arts, and what style did you first start training with?
First time I ever stepped into a gym, I started with karate when I was, I think, 10, 11.
Oh, mashallah.
Yeah,
mashallah. Karate. Have you continued with karate?
No, I stopped a few years ago, but it's helped me a lot, even in my game, for sure.
Yeah, no, to be honest, like when I watched your last fight, it seemed like you know, even though sort of you're like, I assume that you're doing a lot of wrestling work with the brothers when you got to Dagestan and stuff, and like obviously you seem strong in the ground game, but I don't know, it looks like you're obviously really confident on your feet as well. And I remember the commentators saying that your background was in karate, and obviously here in the UK, like people here in the UK, if you get into martial arts, it's usually through karate in the beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of the guys from the US and stuff, maybe like they have a wrestling culture out there. Do you know what I mean? That we don't really have here in the UK.
Karate. When I started karate, I didn't know like what MMA. That was like what, I'm 21 now, so maybe like 10, 11 years ago.
Okay.
I had no idea what MMA was, UFC, nothing. You know.
Okay.
I got into it just to like stay out of trouble because I was fighting a lot.
Yeah. So what was that transition like? So you do karate for like, how long did you do karate for until you even heard of MMA?
Well, I started karate about 10, 11, and then like my coach would also teach a little bit of grappling here and there. So like I knew like the basic stuff, like I knew a single leg, I knew a double leg, I knew some submissions, but like it wasn't. But I still didn't know what MMA was. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I just knew them as different arts, and then one day I think I was with my friend, and then he was like, "Oh, let's he just wanted to like play fight, basically, have a little wrestle, and then like he was like, oh, after we finished, like, oh, you should come to my gym, try MMA and that. I was skeptical at first. I wasn't really interested, and then I was like, all right, let me try it out, innit? I went there and I got the bug, man.
The rest is history. Yeah. That's quite cool though, that you discovered MMA as MMA. Like a lot of people kind of come to it from one's particular style. Like for me, I was only interested in grappling. Like I started out in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Chiswick in West London, and it was just interesting grappling. Like I just wanted to learn wrestling and takedowns and grappling, and it was really just it was through that I just became interested in how grappling was applied in the octagon.
Yeah.
And that was the angle that I became interested in it from.
So I started MMA, and then like first I would just go MMA, and then I was like, then there was like a Muay Thai class before it, and I'll make sure to go to the Muay. So then I started going like double sessions every day. Like within 2-3 weeks, I was just like going like 3-4 times a week, double session. I'll go like Muay Thai, MMA, wrestling, Muay Thai. You know, like I was just doing everything straight away, kind of thing. But then again, I also had a little bit of grappling before, and I also had some striking before. So I kind of always, in a way, did MMA even before doing MMA.
Right. Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. But like, at what point do you decide that you want to compete? Like, at what point did you decide that you were willing to get into a cage with another trained individual?
I fought kickboxing first before MMA.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many kickboxing fights do you have?
So I have like in K1, I have 9. If like, kickboxing, so like above waist style, so without low kicks, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe, I know in total my whole fight was around 26, like including MMA. In total I've had about 26 to 30. So I've had MMA fights and about maybe like 13 kickboxing fights as well, something around that. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, nice. So you're 21 now, you say. Like, when was your first competitive fight? How old were you?
14.
14. Wow, subhanallah. Because I was looking at your amateur record, right? And then I was looking at like other people who have fought in the UFC, like even people who aren't competing anymore, like Brendan Sharp and people like that. And I was looking at their amateur record. They've got like 3 amateur fights. I was thinking, like, how are these boys getting into like professional MMA after doing like 3 or 4 amateur fights when brother Muhidin Abubakakr has stepped into a ring like 26 times with different man?
The game's changed, like the people say 6 years ago could go 1 amateur fight, 2 amateur fights and go to the UFC, There's plenty of guys like that. But if you want to be elite, like if you look at guys now, Khabib, amateur fights, he's had about 300 amateur fights.
Yeah,
subhanallah. All styles, sambo, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, everything. You're talking like 300 fights. Mine is 26, but I haven't included like no-gi tournaments. I've done some here and there, but these guys have had 300, 400 fights. I know guys who had 300 fights as well. Like when I go to Chechnya or Dagestan and I ask people, like over there, nobody counts their amateur record, like when I ask them even how many amateur MMA fights do you have, they're like, I don't know. They just say a lot.
Yeah.
They don't even know, And
right.
I think amateur needs to be kind of taken like that. It needs to be taken seriously to learn, but in the same way, not so serious because it's only amateur, Like some people take their record like religiously, like it's like the end of my career, but it's the end of the day, you go pro, no one cares about your amateur record, man. Who knows about Khabib's record? No one.
No, of course. Do you think that Habib's 28-0 record, do you think that does influence him accepting or not accepting certain fights? Because it would for me, but I'm not Habib. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think for him protecting that record is important to him?
No, I think he's the best in the world by far.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to. I was just speaking about him. Me and a few brothers were speaking today at training, and we were saying like, as much as like that area of the world are good fighters, Khabib is like a different breed, like he's 1 in a billion, like it's not like not every Dagestani is Khabib, not every Russian is Khabib, not like he's something truly different. It's never been seen before, like he's been in the UFC maybe 8 years. How many Dagestani fighters have come through the ranks? There are high level guys, but no one like him, even Islam is level, like, and I'm not gonna say he's better or worse, but what he does is like it's unseen, even from the high level grappling. So like I think when you're really truly the best in the world and you can, like, he's got one game plan and it doesn't change for nobody.
No.
If I fight a striker today as a striker, but he's got a bad grappling, I might go to grappling. If he's good striking, good grappling, I might understand I have to mix a bit of this, a bit of that. But Khabib's like, no, you deal with my problem and my problem only, So I don't think it's got anything to do with protecting fights. I think early on in his career, he did this 1,000,000% if you look at his record.
Okay.
But for a champion, there's no time for that.
No, true. I think like, if we look at like Habib's previous, like most recent fights, like recently I've been thinking about it, just while watching some of Habib's recent fights back. And it seems like a lot of the people who prepare for him, like they prepare with like open mat wrestlers. Like they'll think they're fighting Habib, they need to get in some like high level, like Olympic level wrestlers to wrestle with them. But like when I'm watching some of Habib's fights, I'm thinking like the reason why I believe Habib will retire 30-0. Like I believe he'll beat Justin Gaethje, and I believe that he'll beat Tony Ferguson. And like the reason why is because like it doesn't seem that there's anyone else in MMA who does MMA grappling like Habib. Like the nuances of MMA, like the corners being more open of the octagon, the gloves being smaller, actually the cage itself, like grappling with the cage is something that like open mat wrestlers are not doing like Habib. Like the wrestlers that Conor McGregor got in, they're not grappling like Habib. Do you know what I mean?
First, like with Habib, there's three issues that you have to deal with. The first is the wrestling on the fence, because it's like the octagon is like, okay, it's an octagon, and once it gets to like about a meter behind the fence, in front of the fence, you know what he's going to do. You like when I watch his fights, and I'm like, he's going to shoot right now, and he shoots. You know, It's not rocket science what he's doing. He's just doing simple things, but he's a master of these simple things. You've got to deal with that, of the problem of him taking you to the fence, because you could get Olympic wrestlers and wrestle with them on the cage. They're not going to be able to take you down like they take you down.
No, exactly, yeah.
Like the cage is a weapon for both people, for both the offensive and the defensive. But he's so good at using it offensively, you know. And then on top of that, so that's one thing that you're only going to get from MMA fighters, not wrestlers. And there's no MMA fighter that can do that.
No.
Second of all, you've got to prepare for his top game, which is out there, but it's probably BJJ guys who are like 2-3 weight classes above, you know?
Mm.
And then the third thing, which is the problem, because those guys who do have that top game can't do this, which is the ground and pound. So it's like you have one, you don't have the other two, you know? It's like, so it's very hard, man. Like, nobody ground and pounds like that. Nobody's relentless on the fence like that. And nobody in MMA really has pressure like that. So it's, yeah, man, pick your poison.
Yeah, no, I know for sure. Yeah, no, exactly. Because you know, like I remember when Habib was set to fight Tony Ferguson. I remember people sort of saying that like the submissions that Tony Ferguson would throw up from the bottom and fighting from his back, that'd be a problem for Habib. But I never thought that would be a problem. And it didn't look like you did either. It didn't look like you thought that would be a problem for Habib. But and then with Gaethje, like I don't know if you heard Gaethje's episode on the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know if you heard that.
I watched it until he started advertising.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah. Well, well, with Justin Gaethje sort of talking about his strategy with him being a really good defensive wrestler. Again, I'm thinking like you might have been in collegiate wrestling, like you might have been. Do you know what I mean? But there's sort of specific MMA grappling that it seems like Habib is a few generations above all the other fighters at. You know, so that was just my thoughts.
Justin Gaethje spoke about how he wrestled against Olympic champion, multiple-time Olympic champion, Jordan Burroughs in college. He said, I defended his notorious double leg for 3 minutes and whatnot. But Habib's not going to double leg you. He's going to take you down from the fence. Have you defended that from him? But like, have you felt that before? You know, it's something totally different. And Tony Ferguson, man, submissions from the bottom, like, it's very hard to, like, you know, high level guys like Habib. I genuinely believe you could put him against any grappler in the world, high level. You're talking like black belt, world champion. I'm not saying he'll win, you know, but I don't think anyone will submit these guys. It's very hard to submit a black belt, like really high level, you know. If you watch black belts fight in jiu-jitsu, it's usually just a sweep, you know. You've got to make really big mistakes to get submitted at that level, you know.
Yeah.
And Habib's very disciplined. He knows everything. And
were you nervous for Habib when Dustin Poirier had him in a guillotine?
I was there live.
Were you?
Yeah, I was in Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
Wow, subhanallah.
Yeah, we got nervous, man.
Yeah, you got nervous, right? I did as well, right? Like I was in a place in Northampton watching it with a load of brothers there. And I was like on the floor demonstrating, look, if Justin Poirier's shin wasn't across his belly, was like this, I was like demonstrating like how tight it would be if it was another way. But obviously, you know, Habib knows better than us how he's protected himself in that position. But I was nervous. I was holding my breath for him.
I just wouldn't tap. he'd either go to sleep or he'd get out of it.
Yeah.
I know he'd have gone to the last second. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, I know, man. Because I think that is why, like, I think that's why people thought that Tony Ferguson would be able to do something. Because Tony Ferguson, we've seen him. Well, I think he has 3 D'Arce chokes or something in the UFC. Like from that position, like guillotines or head and arm chokes and stuff is something that there'd have been an opportunity for. But again, I personally don't buy it. But like, I think that's an interesting way of looking at the Tony Ferguson.
People say that, but people act like Khabib doesn't know that. Like he's not gonna prepare for that.
Yeah.
Like my last fight, for example. Well, I still got caught in it, but my opponent, I knew the only way he was gonna beat me is by getting me in an armbar or triangle. Yes, I got caught in an armbar, but like I'm aware of that before the fight, And then after that, I made sure it happened again. So
yeah. No, I was nervous about that in round 1. Like when because obviously I'd watched some of his it's Kane, isn't it? I don't know if it's Kane or Isaac is the first name, but Kane. Yeah, so I'd watched some of his Instagram and stuff, and it seems like he's even since your fight, he's taken part in some grappling competitions and stuff, I think. And like I remember when I saw that round 1 armbar, like I was more nervous about that than I was about Khabib when he got caught in a guillotine, because but I was just watching your elbow. I was like, if he could just get his elbow out, then we'll all be okay. And then when you stepped over and stuff and got out of it, but I was watching how you were throwing that arm, because it was your right arm, right?
Yeah.
I was watching how you were throwing that right arm, and it didn't seem to put you off.
Adrenaline's a hell of a drug, as they say, man.
Yeah, I know, because you were still throwing it. Like you were throwing it on the ground, you were throwing it in the stand-up.
As soon as the fight finished, I felt it on my arm. It was starting to hurt. It started hurting a lot. Right. I came out the cage. My uncle saw me, and he just came give me a hug on my elbow. I was like, I was telling everyone, I was shaking my hand, my waist. It was in pain. And even now, like. It's been 2-3 months, and sometime today I remember I was hitting the bag and I missed a punch, and my arm fully extended, and I was like, it hurt a little bit, Right, I want to get it checked out.
Yeah. Be careful with that, inshallah. Yeah.
85-90% recovered, but still wanna get it checked.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed that fight, by the way, Akhi. I even had like my in-laws and stuff, and my wife were watching it and everything. It's quite beautiful to see just how Somali people will kind of rally behind it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Give them a thank you from.
There was something that you did that at the time I wanted to ask you if it was deliberate. I think it was in round 2 maybe, or it might have been near the end of round 1, where you kind of went for like a spinning back kick with your right leg, but you ended up in like an opportunity for a knee bar. It was like you overshot it. You ended up in a position where it sort of overshot, and then it was sort of behind him, and you were able to sort of roll into a position like a knee bar, and it looked really clean. But I don't know if it was just because you missed the spinning back kick.
I went for a spinning back kick, and like if he stood in the same place, it would have got him like on his ribs, but he moved like an inch, and then he kind of grabbed my back, and and tried to drag me down, and I rolled into a leg lock. I didn't want to commit to it fully, but my coaches at the corner were going crazy. They were like, "What are you doing?" They told me no spinning till it's tight. But it says every time, but like Muhi is not Muhi without spinning, Like it's not good though.
It looked kind of like it was deliberate. It looked kind of like you'd thrown it because you knew that if it missed, at least you could go for a knee bar. It sort of looked deliberate, so it was nice anyway.
It's like when I do it in training, when I practice it, I can hit pads, but every time in the fight, it always goes wrong, man.
There's so many variables, aren't there, though? Like when you're on the feet and stuff, it only takes it takes a slight bit of movement. It takes a slight angle. It takes you placing your other foot in a slightly different way, and like it's a different game, isn't it? Like the stand up is like that, obviously. So what's next for you though, Akhi? Because like at the moment you're reigning and a defending champion, and have you defended all of your belts?
I'm champion in 4 organizations. I've defended 3, and one of them, the 4th one that I haven't defended. I haven't defended because the show's kind of been put on hold. Some kind of in the show, the management and that. So I've defended everything I can.
Yeah, sure. Okay, because I mean, I don't know, like you've displayed in your finishes. I mean, your last fight obviously was a decision. You've had a rear naked choke. I've seen an arm bar. Like it seems like you've had a variety of finishes. Have you had a TKO or a knockout?
I've had my debut was ground and pound only.
Okay, nice. Okay, cool. So like you've displayed an ability to finish fights and stuff. Like it seems, I don't know. I suppose it's just naivety from me not knowing so much about it at this point. That like for me, I'm thinking, why aren't you being given something above it? Like, why are you being expected to constantly defend people who are lower down than you in the rankings against the title contenders? Like what is next? Like at what point? What is the next step up for you?
The reason is because, like, you know me, I've always said, like, it's better to have titles and defend them. Like, I've been offered more title fights, like maybe 2, 3, 4 different titles. But, like, you know, with amateur, because everyone turns pro or goes up a weight, the belt just becomes vacant. So they'll call me like, oh, Muhi, you want to fight so-and-so for a belt on this day? And I think, why am I going to do that? Take this belt. There was, like, I don't like fighting for vacant belts. I really don't like it. Although every single one of my belts was vacant, like, but I defended them, you know? Like, people don't defend. So this is what I don't like. I just, like, say you win a belt and you never defend it. You won a vacant belt and you never defended a vacant belt. Like, what was there to it? Like, you could have just put anyone on the card, fight for that belt. He never defends it. There's no difference to this so-called champion, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and like, I've always asked for the top guys. Now, alhamdulillah, I'm ranked number 1. I've asked for number 2. I've asked for number 3. I've asked for so many guys. You know, my last fight, number 2 ranked guy, beat him. Like, I've always tried to get the hardest fights, you know, at amateur, because it's all about learning. Next fight, honestly, I just want one more fight, or I think one more fight, and then I'll turn professional.
Okay.
Inshallah, but
what for? Like what are you hoping to develop in those fights? Like obviously in your last fight you wanted a 5-round fight. Like you wanted to show that you could do 5 rounds, didn't you? Like is that something in particular that you want before you turn pro?
I would really, really want a 5-round fight, but I don't know, man. I don't know if it will happen. Like my last opponent, you know, if you watch that, there's no reason to give him a rematch. But if he wants 5 rounds, I'll give him a rematch. Like next fight, I'll happily fight. 5 rounds is like, you know, I know I dominated that fight minus that armbar, but like I feel like I was robbed of a finish, you know, from them changing the fight to a 3-round fight.
Yeah.
Literally 3-4 hours before the fight, they told me it's a 3-round fight.
Yeah.
Saying but it was a miscommunication, you know, so like it was very.
Yeah, it's not right. At the end, it looked like he didn't want it anymore. Like at the end, the referee could have. There were times where the referee could have stopped it at the end. Like I think I even heard someone in your corner saying he doesn't want it anymore. Yeah.
I think this next fight, I wanna show some striking. You know, like I need to let striking come out. So like even as a professional, like the confidence was there. I'm confident, Masha, but as in like I've done it, you know, and kind of bring it back out. Like since I started fighting MMA and I stopped fighting kickboxing, I feel like my striking, technically I've gone better, but in my fights, the aggression and the like ferocity is not like it was before, you know.
Okay.
I kind of want not a war, but I want to get into it a little bit.
Yeah. No, I get that, bro. Like I don't interpret that as being that you're like an aggressive person or something. Do you know what I mean? Like the only sport that I've played like a high level is rugby. Like down here in Cornwall, rugby is like bigger than football down here. People love it down here. And growing up, like I had the honor of representing Cornwall in under 15s and under 16s, and then continue to play it in college and stuff. And like I get that, bro. Like sometimes you want a war. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes I'd hope that we'd have snow. Sometimes I'd hope that we'd have snow on match day. So I'd be like, look, I can show my opposite number that I can handle catching the ball when my fingers are freezing. Like, I want to show my opposite number that I'm the one who can run fast in the snow. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get that, bro. Like, 100% get that.
Yeah. You know, I need it because I want to show my striking. You know, like when you have that rawness in your striking, you can come forward and you can hit. Like, you'll fight. It's a fight. You know, like I need, like, the last fight was perfect for me, matchup wise. You know, for me to show my striking. I said, I know I have better striking than him. He's got very good jiu-jitsu. I believe I can nullify his jiu-jitsu on the ground, but I don't even want to get into that. And I've got the wrestling advantage that he can't take me down. And he couldn't take me down. He pulled guard twice. that's what I never thought. Like, I thought it's perfect. I will stand up the whole fight because he can't take me down, and I'm not gonna take him down. But then he jumped guard. You know, like this game is easy, man.
I thought that was really strange. I thought it was really strange. You don't often see people jump guard in MMA unless it's for a guillotine or something. Do you know what I mean? It's you don't see it a lot.
Really confident on their back, you know. But it was like this MMA. MMA is just crazy. Like, who would have thought it would have been that much grappling without him going for a takedown? You know, he just jumped guard. So I just hope the next fight I can be happy with it, man. And
yeah, I mean, there were a few times on the ground, like it never looked. I mean, even the armbar attempt in round 1, it happened really quickly. Like it sort of ended up on the ground. He moved his hips really smoothly and he just caught it. Do you know what I mean? But like in the later rounds, when it ended up on the ground, there was one time when your arm was sort of behind his back, and I worried about an omoplata or a kimura. There was one time, but like it didn't ever look like your arm was going behind your back. I just thought like that's something that I would probably be fighting for if I was in his position. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that makes tons of sense. But something I wanted to ask you actually about fighting at flyweight, right? So flyweight, 125 pounds, right? What is that in kilos? Do you know what that is in kilos?
56.7 kilos.
Okay, and how tall are you?
5'7", 5'8".
Wow, so you're actually probably a little bit taller than me, and you make flyweight, which is like. That's amazing, man. Like, so what is your typical diet like? Because I know some brothers who train and like they've just got a high metabolism, like they're just light. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is your diet like?
Nothing amazing, but just one thing that once this whole lockdown is like, especially now that I'm coming towards the end of my amateur career, I'm starting professional. Like, I need to see this as a job. I need to treat it like a job. Like, I need to be like. The same way I wouldn't miss a day at work, I ain't gonna miss a day of training. I ain't gonna just like, I'm tired. Well, you gotta get up, you gotta go to work, and that's how it's gonna be for me. And one thing I need to change is my diet. I wanna, like, I'm not eating like junk all the time, but like I need to eat the right foods, not just come home from training, and then the first thing I see is what I put in my mouth. It's like I need to know what I mean. I need to put the right things in me. You get a petrol car and you put diesel, it gets messy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you gotta
No, that makes tons of sense.
Of yourself.
Yeah, that makes tons of sense.
And I think this one thing I need to pick up. But as of now, my diet is not different to most of the people that are gonna be watching this, man. Like, I wake up in the morning. I love cereal. I will just eat cereal. Lunch, I'll have some sort of, I don't know, bread with something or rice or something, some carbs and some meat and then dinner something similar, like typical.
Yeah. So basically, like you're eating typically like at home, just whatever's cooked and stuff in it. Like you're just eating that, but you're training hard as well, isn't it? So yeah. I mean,
only maybe like 2 weeks before the fight, I'll say I'll change certain things up, to get my weight down a bit more, and that's it, really. Nothing amazing.
What other stuff are you doing, like for your professional career, inshallah? Like, obviously for fighters now, like a lot of it is about kind of your own personal brand and how you promote yourself. Like that stuff's really important, obviously, now more than ever. Obviously, I see you doing bits on Instagram, obviously, like mashallah, you got a decent audience over there and stuff now. Like, are you on any other platforms, or is like what other stuff are you doing?
I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter.
Nice.
Yeah, but Instagram is like where you can build the most, I think. Like, Twitter is kind of, it's a bit weird, Twitter. Like, I'm on there, I've got like a decent following on there, but I'm a noob on there,
Right.
I don't even have to, like, I use it like Instagram. Like, I put a picture and a caption every time, but that's not really what Twitter's about, I don't really know how to use it that much.
Fair enough. It's better than nothing though, I think. Like, just repurposing your Instagram content for Twitter. Like, it's not the best Twitter strategy, but like if your head's in other places, like you can only concentrate on a certain number of things, isn't it? Like you're not a professional social media marketer. Like, you're a fighter. Do you know what I mean? So like on the side, it's just
I'm professional on Instagram.
Yeah, mashallah, mashallah. Because so someone else would like to talk to you about in a second, inshallah. Like Sean O'Malley, obviously he's like a young bantamweight who's sort of coming up. Had an amazing performance the other day, first round walk off knockout, and like he does gaming on Twitch and stuff. Like it's pretty sick that that like an MMA fighter, like professional MMA fighter in the UFC, has a Twitch channel and has his own podcast and stuff like that. So like those are definitely things, inshallah, like as kind of your career progresses, that you should definitely think about, because like that's just cool for your audience to be able to connect with you somehow.
And not only that, it's not only that, it's like he's making money from it. Like I think he won like a tournament. I think he got like maybe 30,000 or something. Maybe he made some decent money. Like,
oh no, like from gaming, you definitely can. Just the reason why I raised my eyebrows at 30 grand is because he made 40 grand from his fight. Do you know what I mean? So like I know that sounds like
some decent money. I don't know if it was like 10 or maybe I got the figures completely wrong.
Yeah.
But he made some decent money, and the only reason he's got that is for his platform. Like fighting, people think like every fighter's a millionaire. Like, let's not get it twisted. We're not. And second of all, like Khabib, let me give you an example. Khabib gets paid good, but he can make so much more outside that cage.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. He can do a seminar anywhere in the world tomorrow. He'll say, I'm charging $100, 100 people. That's 10,000.
Yeah.
Like, it's just something, so 1 hour's work, you make 10,000. Like, forget him going to do something with the Prince of Dubai. Forget him doing meeting the King of Egypt. Like, there's so many avenues to make money, and like something as simple as personal training. Like there's so many avenues other than the fighting to make money, man.
100%.
Just look at the fight.
But that's most powerful, and it's most the case if you have some kind of personal brand. Do you know what I mean? Like there's so many things about Khabib that he's so successful in that. Do you know what I mean? Like even people who maybe I don't understand it because I love grappling, but even people who don't particularly like his fighting style, like Khabib having like Khabib time, send me location and stuff, like there's so much that is so recognizably Khabib's brand, isn't it? And like that's as you say, of course, like outside that ring, he can make way more money than he makes inside the ring. Of course he can. But
and that's why I always I focus on my brand. Like. To be honest, I'm very fortunate that I'm Somali, because Somalis is a known fact that they support each other in like more. I've never seen like another nation supporting their own like we support our own. I've never seen it, whether that's in good or bad. But like it's just, I think this helps like now it's helped me grow my brand a lot. Most of my brand is our people, do you know what I'm saying? And like I always think about this because like I'm not fighting forever. Who knows, like if I stop fighting tomorrow, let's say I get injured tomorrow and it's game over, like life goes on, do you know what I mean? And obviously if I've already built a platform, I can still kind of use my career, even though it's over, I can still carry on using it to do things in life and whatnot.
Exactly, man. There's loads of fighters like that. Like there's loads. There's tons of fighters like that. Michael Bisping. I mean, he still makes loads of money from stuff that are like post fighting. I mean, there's tons. Like Daniel Cormier. He's a commentator, does seminars, all kinds. Like he's another person who probably makes more money outside the cage than he ever has inside the cage. Even though he's like a heavyweight, a champion, and light heavyweight champion. Like he even probably makes more money outside the cage than in.
Yeah, the UFC's only got so much money. The rest of the money's out there in the world for it to be taken. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a matter of you finding a way to do it, man.
Yeah. So obviously like if you're serious about MMA, like it's probably fair to say that you're aiming for the UFC in it. Do you know what I mean? Like anyone who's serious about MMA, they're probably aiming for the UFC. Yeah. Obviously the UFC doesn't have a flyweight division. So like is it something that you've Sorry?
It does have flyweight division.
Does it still? Because I thought Henry Cejudo was the champion of the flyweight division, and then they just got rid of it.
No. He vacated his belt, and then they made a title fight actually a few months ago. Joseph Benavidez versus a guy called Figueiredo, a Brazilian. But it was a big slap in the face because basically Figueiredo missed weight
Okay.
And if you miss weight for a title fight, you don't get the belt. And he ended up winning, so the champion still the belt vacant.
I've heard of like one-way title fights before, but like I thought, because I remember hearing a discussion about the flyweight division just not really attracting the attention. It does seem generally in combat sports, like the heavier weight divisions, like just among the casuals and stuff, they are just more popular. Do you know what I mean? Like I think the bantamweight division is gonna kind of go contrary to that, because you've got some big personalities in there now. Yeah. But like, what I really wanted to get to is, would you ever consider moving up? Like, have you ever competed at bantamweight, and is it a weight that you feel comfortable
at? My first fight was at bantamweight, but it was at the same day weighing, you know, so it's not really bantamweight.
Okay.
Would I consider it? As of now, no.
So the UFC call you, bring Muhidin Abubakar. Do you want to fight tomorrow at bantamweight? We'll offer you a fight on Fight Island. Will you take it?
If the UFC call up, if UFC call up came at bantamweight, maybe I'd take it. But obviously, then after the fight at flyweight. But even then, I don't know. It have to be where I'm at in my career. I think I'm gonna get to the UFC without it, because short notice fight, the world's stacked against you. You know, like people say you ain't got nothing to lose, short notice, but you do have something to lose. You got money to lose on your like win bonus. You've got your name, like say you get knocked out in the first round, your name get tarnished. Like a lot of things, you know. Like,
no, you do definitely, yeah.
Yeah. But people feel like if you take a big opportunity on short notice, it's like you've got everything to gain but nothing to lose. It's not like that, man. If you knew the pain of a loss, you would never say that. The pain of a loss is enough.
But even obviously I can't relate to that because I've never competed, but like even like the damage that you can take. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't appreciate, like when you step in that ring, like, you know, like I'm sure you know better than anyone. I'm sure even like your family talk to you about it and stuff. Like, you know, obviously you're trained in how to protect yourself, obviously, but like you can lose a piece of you in that ring. Do you know what I mean? Like there are some professional fighters who, but especially boxers, where like in boxing it's basically only punches to the head. Where like,
and also it's like you lose when you say you lose, not when the ref says you lose. You know, like the ref stops it when it's getting unsafe in MMA. There's a big difference in MMA and boxing.
Okay. Yeah.
Like MMA, on the ground and pound, you could be protecting all the shots, but if you're not moving, the ref is just going to stop it.
Okay.
Boxing, there's guys taking 50 punches, and the fight is just, it's crazy.
Yeah. You know, what do you think about like some of the stoppages that we've seen in the bantamweight division? Because obviously the one against TJ Dillashaw when Henry Cejudo won was controversial. The one recently against Dominic Cruz was controversial. Like, what do you think about, like, because I've heard a lot of people argue that at bantamweight, people aren't hitting as hard as like Francis Ngannou at heavyweight and stuff. Do you think that's a fair argument or not?
It is a fair argument, but this is the thing about MMA. MMA is not, like, even when we go to when we're in the rules meeting, like when I fight on shows, there's amateurs and professional on the card. There's a rules meeting, and they say, if you're taking shots and you're not intelligently defending yourself, i.e. moving out of position, showing me you can get out of that position, we're gonna stop the fight. If you're in a position where a guy's punching you 30 times, but you're too tough for your own good, don't tell me, I take 50 punches in the gym. Like, you're not intelligently defending yourself, and you're not showing me you can get out of that. I'm not here to watch you just get pounded, you know. The ref will stop. I feel like that applies. That's MMA, you know. Like weight, 60 kilos or 120 kilos. That's MMA. Like, I don't think it, to be honest.
No, that makes tons of sense.
If you're talking about like the weight of the punches, you know, Francis Ngannou, like, but those guys are also bigger. They can absorb more. Like, even though we're not hitting as hard, we can absorb less. So it works both ways.
True. So what do you think about, because I assume, having said that, you were fine with the stoppage when Kamaru Usman beat Colby Covington?
Definitely, 1,000,000%.
Same.
And I was satisfied.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same.
I don't think there was any question about that stoppage, honestly.
Personally. It's only Colby Covington who had a question about the stoppage, really. Yeah.
I would have loved it to be later, but yeah.
But it is what it is.
I don't think that was.
What did you think about the Gilbert Burns fight with Tyron Woodley? Did you watch that fight?
I didn't watch much of it. Like my internet was just giving me a headache that day, and I was trying to go to sleep. And then like 4 o'clock, someone messages me, Tyron Woodley's breaking my heart, man.
Yeah.
I was like, what? So I put it on, and I see the 5th round, and Gilbert Burns was all over him. And
yeah.
I picked Gilbert Burns to win again.
Did you really?
But, yeah, I did.
Wow. Even on your Instagram poll, I picked Tyron Woodley. It broke my heart as well, man. I don't know why. I think it was because I think Tyron Woodley was, you know, as soon as from the first time I think I started to become familiar with the welterweight division, I think Tyron Woodley was the champ because he had been for a little while. Not forever, but he had been for a little while already. And I just felt bad for him, man. Like I don't know, it just doesn't look like the Tyron Woodley who beat Darren Till. Like that Tyron Woodley was ferocious, but just against Kamaru Usman, he didn't look like it. Like against Gilbert Burns, he didn't look like it. And I like Gilbert Burns. Do you know what I mean? I like not so long ago, I watched Gilbert Burns grapple with Gary Tonin, and I really enjoyed that. Like I enjoyed watching that. I think they competed about a year ago or something. But I've liked Gilbert Burns for quite a while, and his last victories have been really impressive. But it still broke my heart, man. And it does seems a bit harsh on Leon Edwards that Gilbert Burns is getting the next title shot, though.
He spoke about it the other day. He said that he got offered it before Gilbert Burns, but some lockdown issues. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't man. It wasn't possible.
Yeah. Have you met Leon Edwards?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Because obviously I don't know how sort of. Sorry, go on.
I know quite a few guys from his gym, and they've told me come down and whatnot a few times. But definitely should make a trip down there.
Yeah, because I don't know sort of how tightly connected the MMA community is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, me saying that might be as ridiculous as like people asking me if because I'm white I know the Queen. Do you know what I mean? But I just thought I'd ask that, like, if you know Leon Edwards, if you've met him.
Like even my last opponent, like I can show messages. Like I've been speaking to that guy since like 2016, 2017.
No way.
I've known him. I've been speaking. Yeah, this game is like as raw as it is. Me personally, outside the cage, before the cage, 10 minutes before we walk out, we can be best friends, Just that few minutes that we're in the cage is a different story. But I've known a lot of my opponents after the fight are like very close to me. Like when I fought in Bahrain, I fought against a Dagestani guy. And like now me and him are like super tight, like speak all the time. Even my last opponent, we used to speak here and there. As in before the fight, obviously after the fight, not so much with him.
Do you ever feel do you feel a conflict with fighting another Muslim?
It's definitely not nice because like, it's like, for example, and I'm gonna say this example because obviously there's gonna be non-Muslim viewers as well. Like you see when 2 UK guys fight, for example, it's not nice for them, They're fighting their own people. Like imagine if I was fighting a Somali tomorrow.
Yeah.
People will go crazy. It's like it's not nice to try to take something from your own people, Yeah, it's definitely not something I like.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I suppose you just got to see it as sport, isn't it? Like it's just sport. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like it's,
For example, like my Dagestani opponent, for him, he's done it a million of times because he's pretty much always been around them people,
Yeah.
But for me, it's like new territory kind of thing. Like before the fight, I'm thinking this is a bit crazy, Like I've never. It's like I'm not feeling bad. Like I'm gonna go beat. I just feel like, wow, I'm fighting one of my own people. Like imagine if I was fighting a Somali today, or imagine like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like imagine if I was a Somali tomorrow. Imagine how people would look
that's
at
a difficult.
Sad,
that's a difficult position to be in, because I think I thought about it with Habib as well, because obviously like you would never. I know, alhamdulillah, their timelines are different, but like you would I don't think Habib would ever accept a fight with Islam Makhachev. Like they're like firstly they're different positions in the league anyway. Like that's a whole nother issue. But Habib must have fought 100 Islam Makhachevs, like other people from his country and his village and stuff or whatever. But before he turned pro, that's just it's a bit rough, isn't it?
Islam Makhachev and him is like it's more than that. It's like that's his long been training his whole life. It's a bit different. But yeah, it's definitely like the Dagestanis, for example. They fight each other every day in the amateur leagues.
Yeah, yeah.
But professional ranks, or let me give you a better example, Chechens. They, like, I've seen it with my own eye, like, they fight each other in amateur. But professional leagues, whether they're living there or living in the West or anywhere, they don't fight each other. It's like a covenant, you know, like they don't fight each other. Honestly, I've seen it. One of my friends showed me there was a matchmaker looking for an opponent for 3 guys, all bantamweights with similar records. He's like, we're all Chechens, we don't want to fight each other.
Right.
3 guys on the same team. You know, it's like, yeah, it's tough to fight your own people, you know. It's like even UK guys. It's never like when fans see UK versus UK in the UFC, it's like, come on, you know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like there have been times where like it would have made sense for Leon Edwards to fight Darren Till. Like, there have been times where that would have made sense, but like it's not pretty. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's not. No. From every point of view, like from the fighter's point of view, and also from a marketing point of view, you know, you kill one like golden egg, you know, of that country kind of thing or that kind of people. So yeah.
Yeah, you know, I didn't even like the Gilbert Burns and Damian Maia fight because they're obviously both Brazilians, aren't they? Like, I even didn't like that. Do you know what I mean? But you know, so I suppose in a promotion like that, where you've got so many Brazilians and so many Americans, that you're always gonna get it, aren't you? Like, of course you are.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Americans, for them is nothing. It's like UFC is American, you know what I mean? So it's like it's normal kind of thing.
Yeah. How do you like? I wanted to ask you about kind of the mental aspect of preparing for a fight. Like, there's something else about being a champion, obviously, but the mental aspect of like, are there things that you do to prepare yourself to step in? Obviously, you're confident in your own abilities because of what you do in the gym. But like, are there things before a fight that you kind of need to tell yourself, or things that just help you in that? Because like I know, like, even just like I've probably played 100 rugby matches in my life, but I was as nervous in the last one as in the first. Like, I remember being nervous, but like in a team sport, like, you can hide out on the wing or whatever if you want to, but there's no hiding in that cage.
There's one team sport is like, if there's 11 players, there's 1 in 11 chance that you're gonna get the blame, you know. So me preparing, you know, when I was younger, obviously I was new to the sport. I was also less mature in all aspects of life, so it was always kind of just like, I go there and just fight. Like, just, you know, I just get put in chaos and just deal with it there, you know. But I remember one time, this was actually one of my earlier fights in kickboxing days. Someone was like to me, like, I was walking around the venue and then one guy came up to me. He's like, I wasn't stressed out or nothing. I wasn't nervous. He's like, why are you nervous? I was like, I'm not nervous. He's like, it's just a fight. What's the worst that can happen? And then I thought, yeah, what's the worst that can happen? And I kind of just taken that mentality always, like that's how I was early on, you know. But as I got older and more mature, like, for me, I don't fear going in there, you know. Like, it's just another man. Like, why should I be scared of him? If I've got reason to be scared of him, he should have reason to be scared of me too. Let him worry about me. Like, don't worry about him. Let him worry about you. And like, I've always gone in there and I've just seen, like, it's just another person. And also, like, there's many things. For example, you'll be in there against a guy who's 60 kilos. 50, for me, flyweight, 125 pounds. I'll go in the gym and I'm sparring with a guy who's 75 kilos. So why am I scared of this guy? And also, when I take a fight, first of all, I never say no to fights. But when you accept the fight, it's like, you understand, well, this is me personally. Like, I don't fight with ego. I fight with my brain. Before the fight, I say to myself, like, today they'll give me an opponent. I'll watch him. I'll be like, okay, like, let's be real now, 100% real. How can this guy beat me? Can he knock me out? Okay, I'll give the example of my last fight. We got this name. Okay, how can this guy beat me? Can he outstrike me for 9 minutes on the feet? I don't think so. Can he out-wrestle me and, you know, grind me out? No. Can he submit me? Yes, he can submit me. I can submit him too, but he can submit me. Okay. How can he submit me? If I take him to the ground. How do I resolve that situation? I don't take him to the ground. You know, like, you've got to just, like, the doors to victory are there. and the doors to losing are there. You got to close the doors to defeat, and you got to open the doors to victory. And you just got to be smart about how you approach these fights, and don't approach it with the ego like, yeah, he's a striker, I'll strike him. Just win. That's what you got to do, you know. Like, I don't like thinking about this fight or that fight. I'm just, give me a name, I'll prepare for him. And I've got 8 weeks. I just got one thing to deal with, one person. That's it, you know. And yeah, like now when I go to the fight, I prepare, I do everything, and that's it. I go there, and I'm just content, you know. Like, what's gonna be is gonna be, and what's written is written for me, and I can't control that. And when you're content with something before it's happened, whether in your favor or not, it, like, how do I say? Like, when you're at when you accept that, you're content, you know. Like, you're not gonna kill yourself about it and whatnot, and yeah, you just go and
nice.
Yeah.
There's a few different things in there. Obviously, like one of them actually put into perspective. Like I remember seeing on actually one of your Instagram posts, I think. I don't know if it was in a caption or if it was actually in one of the videos or something, saying like how does one man fear another man who's the same as him? You know, like at the end of the day, like this other individual is just another bag of muscle and skin held together with bones, like who Allah created, and you know, and
if
you know,
two people, like, what can he, like, he's got 2 arms, I've got 2 arms, he's got 2 legs, I've got 2 legs, he bleeds, I bleed, he breathes, I breathe, and he punches, I punch, he kicks, I kick. Okay, let's say he punches better than me. Well, you better punch how he punches then, you know. Like, there's nothing stopping you from doing what he does. Like, for Habib wrestles amazingly, but he's grabbing legs and he's dragging a guy to the ground. You can do it too, you know. Like, everyone is the same, and your competition, and this is not just for fighting, like, and this is advice for everyone in life. If you're aiming for something and striving for something, you want to be the best footballer in the world, you want to be the biggest business, what's stopping you? Your competition is only human, you know. Like, if you're a fighter and you're fighting against someone with 3 arms, okay, I understand, maybe there's an advantage, but you're not, you know. It's like the competition is just human, same as you, man.
That's true. A lot of people kind of sort of immortalize their challenges. Do you know what I mean? And they think that their challenges are above them, whereas obviously, actually, Allah has created them perfectly for us. Do you know what I mean? Like, created challenges that are perfect for us to overcome. And that's sort of a bit bigger than just fighting another human being. Do you know what I mean? That what I'm saying doesn't just apply to human beings. But
one thing that's kind of made me think like this over the past couple of years is, like, when I travel and I see this guy, I see this fighter, this guy, you know, this guy with 5 million followers, this guy with 1 million followers, this UFC champion, this top 10, top 5 UFC. And I look at them, they walk in the street like me, they go to the restaurant like me, they train like me, punch and kick just like you. And you realize that, and this, like, they're just human. They're no different, man. Like, I've sat and ate with some of my favorite fighters, man. Guys who 5 years ago I used to watch on the screen, you know, eyes open, and I've sat down with them, had conversations with them, spoke with them, and you realize, like, these same people, they pray behind you, you know, like, they're not different, kind of like all the same, man.
Subhanallah. Yeah, subhanallah. Yeah, I'd say I've noticed that in other things, obviously, that I'm interested in as well. I was actually writing about it in an article recently about how because obviously, like, one of my things is languages. Like, languages is kind of one of my things, and when I first kind of became interested in languages when I went to school in New Zealand, and it was kind of like a school exchange thing. And out there, at school, like here, we learn like Spanish and French in at school, but out there, because of where they are, they learn Japanese and Chinese at school. And I remember, like, in our assembly, we had like some of the sixth formers, like, you know, people who are 16, 17 years old, like delivering talks in like Japanese and Chinese. I remember looking at them and just seeing these white guys' faces and then Japanese and Chinese sounds coming out of them. And it blew my mind, but I thought, like, he's not that smart. Like, I remember seeing some people like who could speak really good Chinese. And I just remember thinking, like, I know that dude. Like, I played rugby with him. He's not that smart. He's not that different to me. Did you know what I mean? So, like, subhanAllah, it's profound, isn't it?
Language is also something that I want to delve into. at some point in my life.
You know, I think actually once in Ramadan, I woke up, I went to have a nap and I woke up like half an hour before Fajr for some suhoor and looked on your Instagram and you're just chatting in Russian. Like, I thought it was because I was tired. I wasn't understanding what you're saying. And I realized, subhanAllah, the brother's speaking Russian. Yeah, mashallah.
It's like, I know a little bit of Russian, but that's only because I've been to a place where they don't speak English. Like, if I put you in Japan for a month, believe me, you will learn Japanese. When no one speaks English, you're going to learn. And this is how I was. I was 2 weeks in Chechnya in mountains, and like no one speaking English. The restaurant don't speak English. The coaches don't speak English. The fighters don't speak English. I better start learning Russian, you know? To go translate and, you know, just practice. And then I realized, like, this language is not that hard, you know? It's just people are scared of it because it's a new alphabet.
Right.
But I don't really think, I want to learn a few languages, definitely.
Yeah, inshallah, man. Which ones? Obviously, like, I know you want to strengthen your Somali. I know obviously Russian makes sense. Are there any others? Do you speak Chimney, by the way?
Chimney, yes, I do.
You do. Cool. Nice. Is that like your language that you speak at home?
Yeah, that and English mix and match,
cool.
really.
Yeah, cool.
I think if I was to learn, then probably Arabic. Like if out of after those three that you said, Somali, Russian, Arabic, bar them probably, I don't know, maybe German or something.
Nice, man. That's cool. Well, like for me, like my degree's in Arabic, right? And like I spent a year in Palestine. Like I went to university in Palestine for a year. And like when you're actually in that environment, when it's a necessity, like I probably learned more in that year than I did in the other 3 years learning it in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Because I did like 2 years at university in London, 1 year at university in Palestine, then I did my final year back in London. And I probably learned more in that 1 year in Palestine than the other 3 in London. But like with my Somali, like my learning Somali has always been from a position of comfort, which is why like I'm not a fluent speaker of Somali. Like my Somali's decent, like I know a lot of Somali grammar and like, I can understand it pretty much perfectly. Do you know what I mean? Like I can watch movies and stuff in Somali, and like I can chat to my in-laws about it and stuff. But like it's always been from a position of comfort. Like I learned Somali in a classroom at university, and then I'm with my in-laws who mostly also speak English as well. So like I've never really had the necessity for it. So I always feel like if I went to Somalia for a month or 2 months, like that'd probably be more useful than the other like years that I've spent learning Somali from the comfort of my sofa sitting next to the missus.
People don't understand, like when you're like your environment influences you a lot, man. People don't understand, especially with language. When you're forced to learn, you will learn, man. You got no choice.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Actually, well, bro, honestly, there's things I could chat to you about for hours. Actually, I hope sometime in the future you'll come back onto the show another time. And to be honest, actually, I feel like this one's been more for me really than for my audience. Like at times, I feel like sometimes in our chat this evening, I feel like it's more for me than for my audience. It's more like me just having a chat with a brother rather than me actually thinking about what the audience want. But it's all good. It's all good, isn't it? So, but maybe in the future, inshallah, I'd like to have you on again, maybe, because there's other stuff I'd love to talk to you about, inshallah. But so like maybe we'll end it on just asking you what you want to happen next, maybe, because like obviously a lot of people who are watching this and a lot of your audience, like they want to support you and they see what you do, but people don't know how they can help until they know. Like, are you looking for sponsors? Are you just looking to increase your audience? Are there like what do you want the next step to be in your career, inshallah?
Yeah, obviously I'm always trying to grow my brand for multiple reasons, you know, like
cool.
Yeah, always, you know, trying to grow, always trying to find new avenues of making money, new avenues of like reaching a wider audience. We're always looking for sponsors, always looking for anything that would just make me a better fighter or help me in any way, really. Yeah, to be honest, probably next fight, hopefully this happens with this whole behind closed doors event that's been talked about, and then after that, probably just turn professional and yeah.
Good stuff.
Go from there, inshallah.
Good stuff, inshallah. Yeah. Well, honestly, I really appreciate you sparing some time for me this evening. I know it's been a late one for you, so I really, really appreciate that. And yeah, inshallah. Unless there's anything else that you want to say. Is there anything else that you want to say before we go?
Just for the people who do already follow me, thank you very much for always supporting. I appreciate it, genuinely. The support goes a long way, and yeah, it's never forgotten.
Good stuff, man. Right, that's beautiful. All right, well, we'll say goodbye to everybody, and yeah, so that's it for this episode, bro. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum.
So I really hope you enjoyed the show. Something else that the brother mentioned to me after we finished having our conversation, which he forgot to mention in it, is, inshallah, in the future, please buy tickets. Obviously makes a really big difference to him, inshallah, if you go there in person and you physically support him. But something that I would personally request that all of you do is go and follow him on Instagram. It's at Abubakakr 98, if I remember correctly, but I have it written up on the screen here and I'll put it in the description below if I've said it wrong. So go and support him, inshallah. Go and follow him on his journey, inshallah, and yeah. So that's it for now. بعد ugu mahadsantihin daawashadiina fadlan like share iyo subscribe dhaha. Assalamu alaikum. Nabad geliyo.